Hello, boys and girls. It's Miss Boswell here again. I hope that you had another wonderful week of Camp Challenge on the go. I am super excited for our activities today. It's a little bit different than what we've been doing. Usually we do some crafts or a craft to go along with our lesson, but today we're actually going to be doing a little mini science experiment. So it'll be a lot of fun. But before we get started, I did want to remind you that at the end of the video, there will be a poll question for you to answer. And remember that by answering the question in the comments, you can be entered into a prize at the end of the week. So don't forget to do that. All right, well, let's go ahead and get started. So today we are going to be talking about rainbows. I love rainbows. I think they're so beautiful, and it is so nice to see them at the end of a rainstorm. All right, well, before we get started with our experiment, I first wanted to talk about the different colors of a rainbow. They go in a very specific order. They are red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. An easy way to remember this is by thinking of Roy G. Biv. So that's actually just each letter in the beginning of the color. So we have Roy G. Biv. So that could be a nice easy way for you to remember the colors of a rainbow. In our experiment today, we actually are not going to be using indigo. And then violet is just another word or another name for purple. All right, so I just wanted to let you all know that these are the official colors of the rainbow, but in our experiment, we're not using indigo, and as I said, violet is just another name for purple. All right, so our experiment, we are going to grow a rainbow. Just to let you all know, this is not exactly how rainbows are formed in real life. This is just a really fun activity for us to do to relate it back to learning about rainbows. All right, so what you'll need is a paper towel. You're going to need washable markers, and you're going to need the colors of a rainbow: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple or violet. And like I said, remember, we're not using indigo. And you're going to need 2 cups of water. All right, so I'm going to go ahead, and minimize this for now. That way you all can see how to do this experiment. So first thing you're gonna need is your paper towel. So this should already be cut for you and folded. Sorry, I already started drawing on one side. But so yeah, it's just cut, folded, and then you're going to take your colors. You're going to need red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple or violet. All right, what you're going to do is you're going to start with red because it's the very first color on the outside of our rainbow. And you're going to make a rectangle on your paper. And you're going to color it in completely. Here, I'll show you what my rectangle looks like. Okay, so I showed you guys this earlier. This is what your final product will look like, just to give you an idea of how big to make your rectangles. But you're going to want to make sure that you color your little rectangles in completely. It might be a good idea to have another paper towel underneath. That way, in case you accidentally go off, you're not coloring on the table or on a tablecloth, whatever you're working on. But these are washable markers, so that's good. All right, so you color it in completely. See? Okay, so red was the first one. Orange is the next one. You're going to make another small little rectangle. Make sure you're coloring it in completely. We don't want to see any white. This will help us in our experiment. Okay. See, that's what we have now. Next color is yellow. So remember we had Roy, so Roy, R is for red, O is for orange, Y is for yellow. color it in completely. Remember, we don't want to see any white. So it looks like this. Okay. The next color, we have Roy G. So green. Another rectangle. Color it in completely. See, like this. All right, Roy G. Biv. So Biv, the B is for blue. So blue is next. And the IV, remember I is for indigo. We're not using indigo. And then the V is for violet. Violet is just another name for purple. All right, so after you have done all of the coloring in, there's no white spots. You made all of your rectangles on one side. You're going to do the exact same thing on the other side, which is why I did this one in advance just to save a little bit of time, but you all feel free to pause the video and get yourself caught up. Remember that whatever like corner you put your red in, you want to do the same thing for the other side, okay? So like you don't want to have a red rectangle here and a red rectangle here, or else it's just going to mess it all up, all right? So make sure that that your paper towel looks like this, that the colors match, all right? This is what it should look like. Okay. Again, make sure there's no white. Make sure you color them in completely. All right, so after you have done that, we're going to take our cups of water. They are not going to be full. There's cups. You want them a little bit more than halfway, but not full, okay? I'm going to go ahead and put my camera down a little. That way you all can see. All right, then you have your paper towel. And you're going to stick each end of the paper towel into the water, all right? If you maybe need a little bit of adult help, feel free to ask someone at home or an older sibling at home. Hopefully they would be able to help you. You don't want to stick the water in all the way. Or I'm sorry, you don't want to stick the paper towel in all the way, okay? You're going to want to just put like just the very edges in each, all right? So hopefully you all can see that. Okay, I'm just going to kind of lay them in there. Just the edges. I'm not sticking them in too far. All right, you want to make sure that all the colors are in on both sides. Okay, and you can actually already see that we are starting to grow our rainbow. See how it's starting to come up a little? Hopefully you're seeing that. I'm gonna try to ever so carefully turn my cups. So see how it's already starting to grow? All right, so while we grow our rainbow, I am going to tell you guys about how real rainbows are formed. Because remember, I told you that this is just a fun activity for us to do to learn about rainbows, but this is not how rainbows are made in real life. So I'm going to move that to the side. Hopefully that didn't bother it too much. Over the next few minutes, probably about 5 to 10 minutes, they should connect at the top. So let's see. Hopefully that happens. All right. While that's going, I'm going to make myself small. That way you all can still see what's happening in my experiment here. And we're going to put that down there. Let's see, maybe I can move this over a little bit more to the side. Trying to do it so carefully. I really hope I'm not messing it up. Okay. All right. I'll slouch down here a little bit. That way you guys can see what's happening on my paper towel. Hopefully the same thing is happening on yours. While we're waiting for both sides to connect, let's learn a little bit about real rainbows and how real rainbows are formed. So, first question, how are rainbows formed? So rainbows are formed when light shines through water, like when the sun shines through the rain. This light is bent and reflected, like a reflection in a mirror, and this causes all of the amazing colors that you see. So in order for rainbows to be formed, you have to have light and you have to have water. So rainbows normally appear from the rain, but they can happen wherever light is being bent inside of water droplets. Rainbows can be seen in mist, fog, spray, and dew. So you can see them after a rainstorm or a thunderstorm, or you can also see them maybe if you're like playing in the hose outside. It's just wherever there is light and water, and it's just like a certain way that the light is bent on the water that creates a rainbow. Can you touch a rainbow? So rainbows are not an object or a thing, and they cannot be touched. They are made up of light that is reflected and bent, and you cannot feel light when it shines. So like I said, maybe you're playing in a hose or something outside and maybe you see a rainbow, and if you were to go to try and touch it, you actually wouldn't be able to because it's just light. So you can't, it's not something that you can feel, not something that you can hold. It's just something that you can see with your eyes. Where's the end of a rainbow? So fun fact, there is no end to a rainbow. Even though they look like an arc to us, rainbows are actually full circles. So you can see in this picture here, this person is standing, and it looks like this arc right here, or maybe like an upside down U. So you would think that there's actually an end right over here, but it actually continues. It's actually a full circle. And the reason why we can only see the arc of the circle or some of the circle is because we view rainbows from the ground. So I guess maybe if we were like really up high in the sky, maybe we'd be able to see the whole thing. But because we look at them from the ground, we only see part of the circle. All right, so those are all of my fun facts that I have about rainbows for you. Let's go ahead and check on our experiment here. So it looks like, I'll show you guys, looks like we are almost connected. I don't know that I'm connected that much on my red, but I think that my purple is, maybe I can turn it a little bit to show you guys. Like I said, I might have messed it up by turning it some. That's okay. So see how my purple and my blue are pretty much connected. My green is almost there. Hopefully yours turned out looking like this a little bit too. That would be so awesome. So we basically just grew a rainbow here. But like I told you before, this is not actually how rainbows are made. We just learned about how rainbows are formed with light and water, and the way that the light bends inside of the water droplets. So now your poll question, I want you to tell me one new thing that you learned about a rainbow. Please don't tell me that rainbows are formed with a paper towel and markers, because that's not true. Like I said, this was just a fun activity for us to do while we were learning about rainbows. So I want to know how are rainbows, how are rainbows formed in real life. I want to know one fact that you learned about rainbows, but real rainbows, not this fun color activity that we did. Okay, yep, so that's your poll question. One new fact that you learned about rainbows, and hopefully your science experiment turned out super cool. Like I said, mine didn't really connect on the red, but that's okay. It connected on the purple a little bit more. Maybe if I let it sit here for a few more minutes, it will connect. Like I said, it does take about 5 to 10 minutes for it to just sit here and for the colors to grow up. So maybe if you let yours sit for a few more minutes, hopefully you'll get some more connections at the top. And then when you're done, if you want to just throw it away, you can. But if you wanted to keep it, definitely ask an older sibling or an adult or someone at home to help you take it out of the water. You're going to want to definitely do that over a sink or a trash can or something, because you're not going to want to get all of the water droplets all over a table. So make sure to ask for help for that. Um, and I think that that is all that I have for you guys today. I hope that your experiment turned out great. I hope that you had fun. I hope that you learned something. Tell me something new that you learned in the comments below to be entered in for a prize. All right, well, that's all for today, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next week.